Knull versus Nekron, two of the most powerful dark gods out there in Marvel and DC. Well, they're going at it today. The god of the symbiotes versus the lord of the unliving. But in this fight, well, who's ultimately going to be coming out on top? And really, is it even close? Let's get into it. Before the universe, in the infinite void of darkness, there existed one solitary creature. This was Knull, ruler of the darkness and shadow, the king in black. Awakened by the light, when the Celestials invaded his kingdom of darkness, he created the first symbiote in the form of a sword. It decapitated one of them. Banished by the Celestials' first actions, Knull used the fallen Celestial's decapitated head as a forge to refine his blade, naming it All Black the Necro Sword. Slaughtering his way across the cosmos, Knull has been a terror ever since, even creating armies of powerful symbiotes as a way to corrupt the light. Knull is without a doubt one of the strongest and most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe. I mean, he's been able to one-shot and defeat Celestials, who, they themselves, are some of the most powerful beings in Marvel. He's been able to slaughter entire armies of gods. He's absolutely manhandled the Silver Surfer. Knull is powerful enough to overpower Odin Force King Thor and straight up rip the Sentry in half. He is seriously strong. And for just as strong as Knull is, he's also just as tough. The guy is pretty much impossible to stop or put down in any fight. I mean, Knull has straight up survived the Big Bang before. He's taken planet level blasts from Ego the Living Planet. Silver Surfer has even thrown an entire star at him, and he's been just fine. And sure, Knull has been injured by the likes of Thor, or Surfer, or Venom with the Enigma Force, but the kicker is that he's still been able to come back from pretty much everything every single time. Even when Venom cast him into the sun and straight up atomized him, well, it seems like not even that was enough to kill Knull for forever. And since Knull is the god of the symbiotes, obviously he has some incredible symbiotic powers. He can instantly create symbiotes at will, even creating an entire planet of symbiotes during his battle with Silver Surfer. He can create them in an instant, restrain powerful heroes with his tentacles. He's even able to use the symbiotes to take over enemies and opponents and force them to be under his control. And then there's the most powerful symbiote of them all, the Necro Sword. When other people have wielded this sword, well, they've been able to kill countless gods and celestials. Gore was able to use it to battle against 3 Thors at once. Thor used it to defeat Galactus of all people. It's also killed Ego the Living Planet. And none of that was the sword's max potential, as in the hands of its true master, Knull, the god of the symbiotes, well, the sword is even more powerful and even more devastating than it is with anyone else. And if that's the stuff it's able to do with other people, well, just imagine what Knull can do with the sword in his hands. There's definitely a reason why Knull has quickly transcended it to becoming one of the most dangerous and terrifying villains in the Marvel Universe. Nekron is the physical manifestation of the very concept of death, meaning death as a cosmic certainty. It was born after the shattering of the emotional spectrum and actually serves as the emotional embodiment of black, or death itself. Basically, Nekron is the ultimate opponent of all life everywhere. And as the omnipotent embodiment of death itself, well, obviously Nekron is incredibly powerful. He's a threat to all existence in every reality. He's said before that he's been able to conquer whole realities, and since Nekron is an abstract concept, well, he actually can't be killed. It will always be around as long as death itself is still around. So yeah, Nekron is a lot. And he's not just unfazed by attacks from Wonder Woman or Captain Atom. He's not just taking attacks from pretty much every single lantern that you can imagine, but Nekron has even been completely fine after taking attacks from the Guardians of the Universe, taking attacks from the Anti-Monitor, or even taking attacks from the Spectre himself. He's been able to kill Guardians of the Universe before, even straight up cutting off their heads. He's been able to injure White Lantern Sinestro, he's been able to kill Volthoom, the First Lantern, he's even hurt the Spectre before. But where Nekron really thrives is with the dead. He is the Lord of the Unliving, and he's the ruler of the limbo of Afterlife, a realm that's timeless, neither in heaven or hell, located forever between eternal peace and eternal punishment. This basically means that he's able to control everyone who's ever died, even if they're technically alive at the moment. That's because every resurrection that's ever taken place happened by the will of Nekron, so that whenever he wants to, he can control them and force them to do whatever he wants. This also extends to the Black Lantern Ring too. Anyone who comes in contact with the Black Lantern Ring, well, it fundamentally changes them, body, mind, and soul, and it puts them under Nekron's control. And this even extends up to someone as powerful as the Spectre himself. He was put under Nekron's control. Nekron is the darkness, he is death, and he is seriously powerful. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now these characters are really quite similar, like Knull is an eldritch god of darkness, born from the primordial void that existed between the 6th and 7th cosmos, and Knull claims dominion over the void and to be its avatar. But while Knull is the god of the void, he's not actually the primordial darkness itself. Doesn't mean that Knull isn't seriously powerful though. I mean, the guy can one-shot Celestials. Not just one-shot them, but he's able to enslave them and add them into his symbiote army. That's insanely impressive. I mean, even if the Celestials aren't quite as powerful as the big main ones, even if they're fodder Celestials, well, they still gotta be crazy powerful. Odin, Zeus, and other Skyfathers couldn't even harm a Celestial, and Odin and Zeus are able to pull off some multiversal feats. So like Knull toying with any Celestial is very impressive. But Nekron is still in a tier above. Like while Knull is an avatar of the darkness, Nekron is the darkness itself. Nekron is death. And even though he's not the only manifestation of death out there in DC, well, Nekron has shown that he can toy and manipulate other death concepts. So if Knull really is what he says he is, well, it's possible that Nekron could just toy and manipulate him the same way. Nekron is also able to just simply create beings as powerful as Knull, like when he got to Krona and gave Krona enough power to condense the whole universe into a singularity. That's arguably a more impressive feat than anything that Knull has shown us. It wasn't even Nekron doing it, but Krona did it as simply a servant of Nekron. And while Knull has a very impressive showing of beating and corrupting Celestials, well, Nekron's done just that and more. He's not just simply beat no-name Celestials, but he's beaten the Anti-Monitor and took the Anti-Monitor's power to amp himself. And he hasn't just simply corrupted Celestials, but took the Spectre, the Wrath of God itself, and one of the biggest, most powerful beings in all of DC, and added him to his Black Lantern Corps. Then there's just simply the fact that Knull can't kill or beat Nekron. I mean, forget Nekron just being more powerful, but Nekron is both the concept of death and exists in a realm outside of our reality. So he can't actually die as long as death itself is around. Nekron will always come back. Then Nekron doesn't actually exist in our realm either, so it would be a real hard time beating him in our realm. But Knull is able to be killed, and he's even died before. And let me tell you, Venom really did Knull no favors here by killing him. Nekron has power over all the dead. Anyone who's died is under his control. It's just a matter of what Nekron wants to do with him. And it is totally possible that Nekron is able to take Knull and just simply add him to his army. If Nekron can do it to the Spectre, then you can be sure he can do it to Knull. Knull is powerful, and he's definitely a cool edgelord. God of the Symbiotes has a nice ring to it. But Nekron is death itself. Nekron is in a class above. There's not a doubt in my mind that Nekron is winning this fight here. Nekron wins. It's not even close. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.